Welcome to the Retiring Club. My name is John, and I will be your host for this meeting. In this meeting, we're going to take a look at our 401k. We're going to look at what's in the 401k, the investment choices we have made. We're going to try and accumulate the ticker symbols. Now, when it comes time for you to separate from your employer, there may be times where you're going to want to roll that 401k over. In my case, I am retired. I have multiple IRA accounts that I can roll these over. I do not need to use the rule of 55. So I'm basically getting my investments out of the corporate plan. And that's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to call it the in-kind rollover of your investments. Some of the investments you can directly roll over, and others you may not. You would have to sell the shares, they would be in cash, and then you would need to decide what type of investments that you want to put it in. And we're going to go through a scenario using myself as an example. One of the big things about rolling over in kind, when I was at the recycling company, and this was back in 2007 to I think 2011, I started off at making 35,000 a year. By the time I finished and quit that job, I was making 40,000. So there wasn't much room for me to put a lot of money into these investments. However, the investments I picked, I did try and study them, and when it came time to leave, I would always try and roll the investments over in kind. If I had two Fidelity investments, then those two were going to go to Fidelity. The other couple, we would just sell and then we would figure out what we want to do with the money at that point. And that's exactly what I did. And the reason why I'm bringing this subject up is this: for some of us who are do-it-yourselfers, self uh, investors, or you're just getting started, you want to be able to do some of this stuff on your own. If you use a lot of broker assisted type services, you'll be charged for it. So I wanted to go through this since this is a real life scenario, something that I have to do. I think it'll be very important. And plus, you can have substantial gains. The Fidelity Contra fund, I didn't put much money in it, but it's showing 846% growth over the last 13 years. And so if you're able to roll these investments over in kind and they're good picks, that's how you're going to accumulate the growth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to try and explain how everything shakes out when you're looking at the 401k, which could be considered a institutional investments, where the fund pricing is a little bit different versus the retail. And I'm going to go through all these examples. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And I'm going to come back with a screen share. My name is John, and you are at the Retiring Club, and we're doing 401k rollovers. Okay, so this is the portfolio of the 401k that I had with Morgan Stanley. So we'll go ahead and take a quick look at this. And so you can see I have 42% in short term. I shifted to short term after 2022. I had been investing in equities. I had put $14,000 or so into equities, and the accounts only rose by 5 grand. So there was massive loss. I said I can't keep going through that. We're so close to retirement, so I shifted to short term. This was the U.S. equity large cap, mid cap, and international. I got one more paycheck, so this might go up to 80,000. We'll go down here. We'll look at it. You can see that I have a bulk of it into the government short-term investment fund. It's showing its gain, and that's its unit price and the number of units. About 10 grand is in Roth. This BlackRock S&P 500, that should come in second. It's been returning pretty well. T. Rowe Price large cap. I think that was the first one I started out when I got employed. So, uh, in this Westfield mid cap growth equity, got some in there. And then this BlackRock, this is some type of technology fund. This is an ETF. So those are the investments that I have. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up a spreadsheet here, and we're going to take a look at and start looking at the ticker symbols. So sometimes in your 401ks, it can be a little hard to find the ticker symbols. As you go in and look at these investments, they actually don't have the ticker symbols. Sometimes you have to either make note of them, like I did in my spreadsheet, hunt for them yourself, or call one of the firms and ask them, what are the ticker symbols? So that's what I did. So we're going to bring up that spreadsheet and take a look at that real quick. Okay. Give me a second and I'll be right back. All right. So here's the spreadsheet. So I have the 401k funds. I got all the names. I obtained the ticker symbols for each one. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up the E-Trade account and we're going to take a look at the ones that are held by E-Trade and how you can tell if your firm, your brokerage account, has these funds listed in there. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, I got them listed here. And this other column is what I'm transferring them to. I've already did a lot of planning on this, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you that. So that's what we're going to work on. This is their ticket symbol. This is what they're going to go to. Here, the T Rowe price, they don't have that. So we'll go to cash and cash. And I will send it over Fidelity. And these are the ones I'm going to pick. So we'll see if we can take a quick look at those. Okay, thanks. All right, here we go. So I got logged into the E-Trade account, went to Marketing Ideas Mutual Funds. So let's throw in the first one. We're going to throw in TSTXX. And that doesn't come back. That is BlackRock government short term. Better known. Anything double X is a money market. So let's try this other one. All right, this is your S&P 500. So as you can see, it comes back with a buy sell. Now this price right here, this is a retail price. That institutional price on the that PDF document we were looking at, that it was $122 per share. So I will wind up. I'm going to try and get this one over so I can benefit from the capital gains payout. I'll keep an eye on it, but I'll probably sell it and buy something a little bit cheaper. That's a really high share price, but maybe I'll change my mind, see how I feel. So let's look at that T Rowe price. So it does come back. It was in the list there. No buy sell here. They don't take this one, and that's its offering price. And let's go with the Westfield mid cap. Nothing found for that one, so we're going to move on. ACWX. ACWX. That one comes with something. Let's see. So we got a buy sell. So the two BlackRock funds, I will go ahead and move over and try and get those rolled over in kind. Now we're going to go to Yahoo, and we're going to go to finance. Remember doing our classes or the other meetings we were talking, this is a good way to find ticker symbols. So the T Rowe price, we don't have that. So I'm going to let the money go into cash, and then I am going to take a look at shoring up the Fidelity investment. So we come back here, let this pull. Fidelity zero maintenance fee or service fee account total market index. It's at its all-time high. And let's take a look at it. Look at the returns on it. This is your magnificent seven. So when the S&P 500 is going up, you're going to go up with it. It's telling you it's got 33.42% of total assets are in these investments here. I'm going to put my money in there. I have plenty of overlap when it comes to the magnificent seven, but who doesn't? And this other one, I called and asked for a technology fund, specifically with AI, and this is what they came back with. This one right here, FSELX. We'll let that load, and these are the companies. Look at the returns on that. You got Nvidia. These are a lot of chip manufacturers and things like that. A lot of offshore companies. And it's saying, oh, 83%. Ooh, lordy. These companies do well. We'll all do well. And it's technology, 100% technology. Look at that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and giving you some tips on how you can look and get familiar with looking these ticker symbols up, picking some investments and moving your things. So you want to try and move over in the 401k because you want to be a owner of these shares at the end of the year and have it for the whole year so they can pay out the maximum capital gains to you. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. I'll come back and I'll show you a little bit more. Maybe we'll actually do the rollovers. You'll see me clicking in there. It goes from the portfolio with the four with the 401k. They have someone managing it, and you look at the funds. You move them over. If you can't, you sell, let it settle, give it 24 hours to settle, and then you can move the cash over to Fidelity. And then that one money market by BlackRock, that's going over to E-Trade in fixed income because I always want to have 3 years of fixed income. You have a year down market, you have a year of recovery, and then you have a year of stability. It really should be five, but I'm gonna go with three because I have to fund my retirement until Social Security, and eventually I won't need the money from the capital gains and the dividends. I could just you know turn it back on to reinvest. But for now, I'm gonna go with that for the next few years and see how it works out. I'm definitely gonna be looking at that this year. So go ahead and subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and end the meeting here, and we're gonna come back at another.